Hey, hope everyone is well and has had a good week so far. So it's August, just started in the UK, well everywhere I guess August just started, and it's chucking it down again. I think summer is officially gone, but yeah, hopefully we get some sunny back. So this is a short video today, and I just wanted to come on and do a really honest chat about motivation. There's like a few key areas that like always come up when I speak to riders, especially during like initial consultation calls. Like if you've applied with me, we'll have a 10-minute chat. I want to get to know you, understand who you are, what makes you tick. But obviously my job, without being rude, is to figure out what you're doing here, like why can I help you? And that's where struggles come in. And often if I say, so what are you really struggling with? Motivation. Oh, I'm not motivated. I lack motivation. Oh, I just can't be bothered. I don't have willpower. Oh, I'm just not strong enough. And I'll tell you right now, that's total bullshit. Every single equestrian female I have ever worked with has incredibly high standards. And that's kind of the problem, because it's easy to kind of turn around and be like, oh, do you know what? I'm really lazy. But you're not. Or, oh, I'm lacking willpower. You're not, because look at all the things you've done in your personal life, professional life, with the horses, and they're all just ultimately excuses. And what we have to remember is motivation isn't this tangible thing. Like you can't just reach out and touch it. It's a feeling, and feelings get created as a result of our behavior and how we act. So if we do things that make us feel rubbish all the time, you know, don't get good sleep, drink loads of alcohol all the time, eat rubbish fast food, we're going to feel tired, we're going to feel groggy, we're not going to feel good in ourselves. If we eat really like good, unprocessed, healthy foods, if we move our bodies regularly, if we drink lots of water and get 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night, we are, funnily enough, probably going to feel a lot happier, and we are potentially going to feel a lot more motivated. So that's like the biggest thing I can say. Like motivation is not a thing, it's a feeling, and you have to remember that. And what you have to think about when it comes to motivation is, rather than just the outcome, like for example, my goal is to lose 5 kilos. My goal is to run a half marathon by the end of the year. My goal is to do my first BE100 and come in the top 5. Rather than solely focusing on the outcome, you need to start to think about the input. So what I mean by the input is the process that's going to take you from your start point to achieving that end goal. Because then as well, if you're focusing on the process, you're more focusing on your behaviours. Winner, that's what we've got to focus on. But also you're actually going to enjoy it, because you're thinking, okay, cool, what's going on this journey? You're going to have chances to reflect back and think like, oh my God, I started there 4 weeks ago. This is amazing. And it's going to be much more about the whole journey rather than just getting to the outcome. Because the problem is, if you just solely focus on the outcome, you'll achieve your goal and then you'll be like, oh, okay, what's now? Oh, I don't know, this is really a weird feeling. I've done it. What do I do now? So we need to focus on the process, and also you learn by focusing on the process, because you're going to learn what the input is and how you get there. But the biggest thing, and I always remind people of this when it comes to being motivated, is your reason as to why you are doing this. So why are you doing this? And it's a question, again, I'll ask a lot with an initial rider that's looking at potentially working with me. Like, why do you want to do this? What is the goal? And the more whys you can ask, the better, because you might say, oh, I just want to lose 5 kilos to feel better in myself. But actually, if I said, well, why? Like, why do you need to feel better in yourself? How have you been feeling? Actually, you know, at the weekend, you went to buy a picture of you and your horse, and you had a look at the photo, and you were absolutely mortified by what you saw in terms of how you looked in your breeches and your show jacket, and you just absolutely hated it. That is a why, because it has a really deep emotional connection. And if that actually means something to you, you have that visual of like, okay, I want to walk into that photography stand, I want to look at my pictures and think, oh my God, we both look amazing, rather than going straight to what I don't like about me. And leaving a competition at the end of the day, being able to buy a photo, and that's a massive thing. Like, you should be able to do that. But the visual will really, really help. And what I would suggest as well is writing down your whys. If you're somebody that journals, if you're somebody that doesn't journal, just have it like on a list in front of you somewhere. You're going to see it every day, maybe on the fridge, maybe in the bathroom, because again, that's a really good reminder. And it's not that like motivation slips or gets lost. It's probably more that we just lose touch as to why we're doing this, and that bit slightly fades away. And obviously, if you've not got a really strong, that's like your driver, it's like your fuel to get you to the end goal. If you've not got a really strong why of why you are doing this, you're always going to struggle with that. But as well, like, don't forget that part of motivation is working hard. It's also about being disciplined, so following through on what you are doing. And you're not really going to feel motivated, in all honesty, until you actually start to see progress, because that is motivating in itself. Like, when you look back and you think, oh my God, like, I couldn't even run 10 minutes 6 weeks ago, and now I'm running 5k really easily. That is going to be motivating because you can see progress, but you can't expect to be magically motivated if you haven't seen progress. So you have to remember that it's something that we create. And what I would just say is, you know, when you're thinking like, oh, do you know what, I really can't be bothered with this today, I'm just going to bin it off, like I really can't be asked, I'm lazy, nah, my willpower's not there tonight. Think about, like, if you don't follow through and do that training session, if you don't follow through on that meal plan, what does that do in terms of helping you to reach that why? Really think about that deep down, because I work with a lot of riders who are in their late 40s to mid 60s, a couple who are actually even older, and I think probably the biggest regret they have is not doing something about their fitness, not doing something about their health, not taking control of all of those bits of their life earlier on. Because yes, they're doing it now and that's fantastic, but actually when you're 30, when you're 40, you want to feel amazing, you want to feel good, and you want to have high energy. And at the end of the day, the end goal for all of us should be the same. Like, we still want to be doing all of the things we do when we're 80, 90, riding, walking our dogs, running around the farm. And ultimately, a lot of people in their 80s and 90s can't do that. And I think that's the biggest thing, because you don't want to look back in 20 years and regret the choices you made now. And that's something where, you know, if you're currently 20, you've got a bit of a winner on slightly older people than you. So remember that you can do something about it now. But yeah, I hope that kind of gives you a bit of, I guess, motivation, but it helps you to understand that whole piece. And it's not as simple as just being motivated, and it's something that takes time, it takes work, and it takes a lot of thought to get you there.